Alright, in this one we're going to go over basic finishing touches on all the sides. So first, I can go ahead and hide this relationship thing. It's getting in the way. So one thing you want to know how to do for sure is how to activate one component and how to go back to the main component. So basically there will be these dots here on the side of any of your components. If you want to work just in that one, I would recommend opening or activating that component. Once you're done, go back up here to reactivate the main file. So first thing I want to do is on the front, start a sketch. I'm going to do the circle and the hole cutout for the speaker. So to start, I'll go ahead and put a line across the middle. And I will put a line from the midpoint to the midpoint of that line. And if I make this line vertical, it should make it so that this line is symmetrical about the middle. That's why I did that. I'll go ahead and make both of these construction lines because I don't need these lines. I just want to use that to place my other parts. I also use a horizontal vertical constraint to match that to that hole. So now that's right in the middle. And I'm going to put two circles. Actually, I'm just going to do one. Scratch that, just one circle. I'm going to go ahead and put a line off to the side. Make that dashed as well. Of course, I'm just hitting X when I do that. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to add my dimensions to it. So I'm going to make this a 45-degree dimension. I'm going to make this here 2.727. Make this here 2 inch. This line here, make sure you don't go all the way up or down. Make sure it's like this. That one should be 1.189. Alright, so with that, I can add a circle on the end of this. This circle should be hole diameter 0.13. So now what I want to do is pattern this circle around this here center point and just make sure there's 4 so they're evenly spaced. Go ahead and hit OK. And now basically what I want to do is mirror this and these circles and use this as my mirror line. Make sure when you select the object, you select the circle and not just a dot. There we go. Then you can hit OK. So this should be good for the front. I can finish this sketch and extrude all of these to cut. You can go all the way through, just make sure you're only cutting one object. But because we're only in this component, it should only be cutting one object. So with that good, I can go back into my main component here. Alright, next I'm going to go to the back. And all I have to draw on the back is this little T-shaped cutout for the charger port. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw it as like an upside down T or like a little hat. I'm just going to try not to forgot a line there. Make sure you're all matched up, and if you have anything not vertical or horizontal, make sure you correct it. So what I'll do here real quick is just put an equal. So I'll make these equal, and I want to make them, I can make these two equal also. If I do this, make those equal, then it should keep the same relation. There we go. So fully dimension this, I'm going to dimension from here to this one, not the full bottom, but the one closest to it. So try to draw it in this relative location. This one's going to be 0.125. This is going to be 0.75, just the distance itself. And the distance from the edge should be 1. And again, make sure you choose the right sides on all this. The top here is going to be 0.345. And since we set everything equal, these should change as well. So now all I have to do is dimension the top here, 0.096. And dimension this bottom one to 0.069. Now that that's fully constrained, I can extrude it and complete this piece. I'll go back into my main component here. All right, next thing is to do the same thing for the top. So I'm going to activate the top. Just make sure we're putting everything in the same relative locations here. So this one, I'm only going to draw a rectangle and a circle. The exact placement is not super critical on this one, but our dimensions are. So this one's going to be your whole diameter. This one here, the long side, this is going to be where your switch goes, so it's up to you where to put it. Just I like to put it in this direction and towards the back, just so that way it does not have a chance of interfering with the speaker. So here I'll go 0.486. So where exactly they go, I don't know. I'm just going to put a line from the midpoint here to the midpoint here. And if I make this horizontal, it'll bring that up like this. And I'll just put it here. Same thing with this. I want this one to be horizontal, vertical with the origin line, so I'll keep it a little bit of distance away. Exact placement, not important. This is where your Bluetooth chip goes and your switch goes, so make sure they're not right next to each other. Otherwise, your soldering will become kind of a pain. Same thing, extrude this, extrude that all the way. Then we can go back into our main component. All right, last one is the bottom. So do the same thing. All right, so for this one, the main thing, we just got to make sure we're sketching these two holes around this one. All right, so I'm going to sketch two holes here. I'm going to set their dimension to hole diameter. Sorry, no. These are actually going to be hole distance. I'm just going to type in 0.1 for both of these. Make sure that they're in line with each other using the horizontal vertical. And what I'm going to do is put some dimensions between them. of 0.905. I'm going to put a dimension between this and this closest edge, 0.922. And then from this edge to the closest edge here, 0.35. So make sure we have it so it's lined up near this. And these are going to be smaller holes because the screws need to bite into the wood as opposed to having the bolts on the end of it. So those are in the right spot, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a single hole dead center. This one is going to be hole diameter. And to get it dead center, I'm just going to use the horizontal vertical and select these hole center points to line them up to get it right in the middle. That's where the battery is going to be attached to the base.
Alright, so this hole actually needs to be shifted over a little bit to the side so it does not interfere with the speakers. So actually this hole, I'll leave this here as reference, but I'll make it a construction line by hitting X. And then what I will do is I will put another hole of the same size, so hole diameter, and I'm going to put that 7/8 this way. So from the center line, I'm going to go 7/8 in this direction. That is 0.875. And I'm going to go 5/8 in this direction. So it's kind of hard to see, but I'll put it down here. 5/8, which is 0.625. So I want it to be on the same side as these holes, but on the other side of the center. And that should be the hole location for the battery.
So last thing, I'm going to put another small hole. So this one is going to be 0.1 on all four corners for the feet, if you'd like to include them. So I will set the dimension here from the edge of, just to make it easy, I'll use ply on both. And set this as hole diameter. So the size of this hole depends on whether or not we want to use the threads to attach it or not. I think not using it is probably easier here, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to this here. But with all of this done, we should be ready to lay this out for our laser. I'm just going to finish this up real quick. One last one. Like I said, a lot of repetition, nothing too difficult here. So I'm going to extrude everything. Just make sure it goes. Slap them all, make sure that the extrusion goes through this way. Hit cut. Make sure all my parts line up. I want to make sure that the switch is away from the front. I want to make sure that this hole lines up with this slot back here. So with all this done, all my designing is done. I just need to lay out the parts for the laser.